Okay, and then we can go back over.
Why is that mono? That's not stereo. All right. Hello and welcome to RPG Research. We're going to give it a minute here to make sure it buffers up. It looks like it is.
Yeah.
Good. Today is, what is today? December 15th, 2021. Getting near the end of the year.
Ooh.
I love it. All right. Today we have one, two, three unboxings. Three unboxings. We are going to look at the Kids Arcanum. It's kind of role-playing game adjacent stuff. We'll start with that.
Okay.
We're going to look at the Dark Crystal adventure game, which is a role-playing game, but they call it adventure game.
Yeah.
From Europe. You cannot get this in the States normally. Amazon, you can't get it till February at the earliest. Mm-hmm. You pre-order or whatever. If you are willing, well, we'll talk about it, but we've got copies.
We have it.
And we've already been through a little bit of it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we liked it so much, we ordered more. And then the new Fourth Edition Twilight 2000 Kickstarter funded, etc.
Which, in case you can't tell, Hawk is very excited about.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That is not a reflection of my excitement. That has been an interesting experience in itself. Okay.
I beg to differ. I think that it is showing your excitement.
Okay. We'll talk about it.
All right.
All right. So, I'm Hawk Robinson, president and founder of RPG Research. RPG Research it's been a while since we did this. Our last broadcast was months ago.
I know.
We're out of habit. RPG Research is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable research and human services organization. We study the effects of all role-playing game formats, tabletop, live action, electronic, role-play, and hybrids, as well as cooperative music, for their potential to help improve lives. We have nearly 200 volunteers across 6 continents. We're all unpaid volunteers. We do all of this in our free time as best we can. Mm-hmm. We run community programs to help everybody, but especially at-risk and other populations, all the way from 2 years old through senior adults and everybody in between. We run regular community programs at community centers and online, as well as research, and we have the world's largest research on the effects of role-playing games, freely available to the public, all at rpgresearch.com. Please do consider donating at rpgresearch.com/donate and or volunteering at rpgresearch.com/volunteer. Go ahead and rest of you introduce yourselves briefly. We'll start with Mr. VP.
Hello, I'm John Walker, Vice President of RPG Research, and I've been here for quite a while.
And DI.
My name is Daniel Ivy. I'm a Game Master Level 2. I've been here for a bit. I've been helping out with a lot of the artwork and testing a lot of the early stuff. Send video.
Your camera.
Huh. Let me try.
It's what we do.
I'm going to try and refresh. You see me now? Okay.
Is it fancy or tiny? The font, fancy or tiny?
Ooh. Oh. Yeah.
It does sound like fun. I'm a little curious about its replayability.
Yeah.
Replayability.
Hmm.
On the road again.
Oh. Mhm.
You got a picture. Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yep. Yay. Couldn't preview file. Yeah, you have to download it.
There we go.
Are you trying to say you have enhancements? You have enhancements. Nice.
Cool. I thought it was the white flag. Okay.
that a wisdom tooth? Translate. Yeah, will-o-wisps is gone. Did Dan get captured by a will-o-wisp? Let's see. They're supposed to assign their preferred flavor of cake. Okay. What is the age group here? Okay, so are they allowed to share things with Kids Arcanum under the age of 13? Under the age of 13, are they allowed to share anything online with Kids Arcanum? Or the parents will have to do it? Online, I don't know that they're allowed to share anything online with Kids Arcanum. I like goblins. Wow. Look like Disney fairies. All the rainbow. Art supplies. It's stuff. Were any of these items exclusive for your level? Were any of these items? We were deleting lots of boxes. Is it available outside of Kickstarter yet? Is it available outside of Kickstarter yet? Okay. Yes. That's an unfortunate reality. Kill the golden goose. Kill the golden goose. Sketskis are not sexy.
I'm back. My video, no, my internet card got overheated.
That's only a little scary. I'm surprised it's not on a cassette tape.
So some people didn't grow up with that context. See, that doesn't sound like a really good, crossover because, part of the thing of Cthulhu is that you're realizing that this being, of immense power doesn't care about you. With Twilight 2000, you've already just accepted that no one cares about you. Oh no.
Also, wasn't there a Call of Cthulhu paranoia crossover? I'd give it a try.
Sure. So what you're saying is we're getting a new prescription for our meds.
And that was the good words.
Yeah.
And that hurts. The Swedish company. Correct. I said you're correct. They are out of Sweden.
Yes.
And I've got mine with me. He's not supposed to ride the jerry can. I got the Avalon Hill World War II tank and people think it's a much smaller scale than those. It's closer, but it's not the same scale as the tokens that you're using. Because they use this, the scale for the game is the tactics scale.
Is it possible to get that on the cheap?
Did you buy it off Wish? Did you buy it off Wish? Crack of doom. Oh no, it's got the right label look to it, but it is definitely not the dimensions.
Okay.
Let's see if I made any progress on that. The chemicals I put down my toilet.
Testing, testing.
That's
All right, maybe we lucked out. Maybe we were okay.
no, yeah, that one.
All right, fingers crossed. Hopefully it was okay.
Because like
then.
that's
I was
that's
trying to avoid echo.
that's
and I
audio
muted-
input capture. That's the desktop
Well,
audio
it might have
right
been. It might
there.
have been this. All right. Okay. Good.
It was on.
Welcome back to RPG Research. I'm Hawk Robinson, and we're continuing our unboxing this December 15th, 2021 of different role-playing games. We started with the Kids Arcanum Activity Adventure role-playing game set. Then we did briefly Dark Crystal Adventure game. And now we're doing the Twilight 2000 Fourth Edition unboxing and going with the Special Collector's Edition metal box version. Alrighty then. So lots of stuff jam-packed. I like jam in here. And then we got the regular box set, which is totally nice. So I don't think there's no info about in the metal box. So let's look at the description of the regular edition. Twilight 2000 by Free League. Role-playing in the World War III that never was, thank goodness. I grew up with us training to hide under our desks like that would do anything in a nuclear strike. I grew up with that. Collets. We're still only in Collets. We need to get out of here. Fast. The artillery barrages are getting closer. The Soviets will be here soon. Sarge says we move out after dark. I'm not sure we'll last that long. A classic role-playing game returns. This new retro-apocalyptic edition of Twilight 2000 goes back to the roots of the franchise, with open-world role-playing and the devastation of World War III. Just like the original 1984 edition, this new game is set in a year 2000 devastated by war, now in an alternate timeline where the Soviet Union never collapsed. Twilight 2000 is a role-playing game about survival in mankind's most desperate hour. Yet, in this bleak world, there is still hope. In the midst of utter destruction, you can start to build something new, rally people to your ranks, stake a claim and protect it, and maybe, if you live long enough, start turning the tide. This regular box set contains a 152-page player's manual, including rules for character generation, skills, specialties, combat, base building, and travel. That's an additional thing to the base building. I don't think we had that in... We definitely didn't have it in the core of Twilight 2000.
Yeah.
I think it was supplementary. A 112-page referee's manual describing a world at war and including 52 ready-to-play encounters. Wow. And 4 complete scenario sites.
52 ready-to-play encounters.
Yeah. And generally you can do an encounter in a single... 1 or 2 encounters per session. A huge 864 by 558 millimeter double-sided full-color travel map. We'll get those out here in a bit. 15 engraved custom dice, including ammo. Now, this is one of my negatives, I think, for any game that does this.
Legit.
Custom dice that you have to interpret things.
Oh, yeah.
They're not too bad, but like these are better than like Star Wars dice and such. But you know, they're a lot better than Star Wars dice.
Should I open one?
I think we'll open in the box set. Those are extras, so we'll leave them in there for now.
Okay.
16 modular battle maps designed to create an endless variety of battlefields, so think like dungeon tiles. 108 cardboard tokens. So I brought this out for a reason. These were the tokens for wargaming. They were little cardboard tokens.
Right.
They pretty much did the exact same style
Oh, okay.
with what's included. So instead of these, you get the little tokens,
Right.
which is fine,
Yeah.
but that's a little more fun.
Yeah.
But 108 of them for fighters, vehicles, conditions, and more. So that's really where the roots of the wargaming stuff, and again, it goes kind of back to that tactic style. 4 battle maps for specific scenario sites, 52 encounter cards, 10 initiative cards, 5 blank character sheets ready to be filled in. I'm going to do the front and then the back on that.
Yep.
Ooh. Ah. Alright, so now I'm going to jump into the collector's edition, which is pretty much the same thing, it's a different case. Here's the games catalog. So the other games that Free League has, Alien, Forbidden Lands. It's a new take on a classic fantasy roleplay, world survival role-playing game.
Can I see
You're sent on missions dictated by others. Instead, you are raiders and rogues bent on making your own mark on a cursed world. So, kind of sounds like a fantasy version of Twilight 2000.
Oh, okay.
Tales from the Loop, which is a Netflix series.
Okay.
Simbarome. Explore
Now,
the vast forest of
clarification
Davokar.
on Tales from the Loop.
Yeah.
Tales from the Loop was the role-playing game before it became,
Well, it was originally a narrative art book.
yes.
So Simon Stollenhag is the internationally lauded artist and author of Tales from the Loop, the narrative art book that stunned the world with a vision. So, comic book. Damn's head's going to explode.
Not going to.
What?
I'm pretty open about what's considered a comic book.
Okay. Scandinavia in the 1980s, where technology invaded tranquil landscapes to form an entirely new universe of the eerie and the nostalgic. Now you can step into the amazing world of the Loop in this tabletop role-playing game based on Simon Stolberg's books. You'll play teenagers solving spectacular mysteries connected to the Loop, and there is also a Netflix series based on this. Amazon series. My bad. And then there's Simbaram. I don't know anything about that. And then we've got Twilight 2000. And Vasen, Nordic horror role-playing. Ooh. Nordic horror is pretty horror. Right? That's some... They have some intense, cool stories. All right. And Mutant Year Zero. I think we did a... Didn't we run that a few years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
We did.
Yeah, we did a whole playthrough. That should be on our YouTube channel. And then Coriolis, the Third Horizon science fiction role-playing in remote cluster, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Dotson
What?
is on Kickstarter right now.
Okay. And then Morkborg, a doom metal album of a game, a spiked flail to the face, rules light, heavy, everything else. Morkborg is a pitch-black, apocalyptic fantasy RPG about lost souls and fools seeking redemption, forgiveness, or the last remaining riches in a bleak and decaying world. Who are you? The tomb robber with silver glittering between cracked fingernails, the mystic who would bend the world's heart away from its inevitable end. The world is dying and you with it. Any awards winner, product of the year gold, best layout and design gold, best writing gold, best game silver. It manages to cram pure brilliance into such tight spaces that it's outright confounding at times. The dread gazebo and the artwork on there's I'll put that up there. All right, so this one is the Stockholm, Sweden adventure folder, and it's got the maps and such. And this is the brief for that. And this one is the Kalitz, the original Kalitz one, Escape from Kalitz. So you have either the new Stockholm, Sweden one, or a variation of the Kalitz, Escape from Kalitz one, which is what we've done many, many times, with all of the maps of where things are. It helps. They fill in a lot of blanks that were a little fuzzy before.
Wow.
Yeah. And good quality, right? This is really high quality paper.
Wow.
That's what I was talking about. That's kind of cheap. They did not skimp on these.
No, this is...
And even the maps are decent.
Like... And this is the map that's in there.
Yeah,
like,
the situational...
This is real... Like, I would...
Yeah, still a little low contrast. I wish it was darker ink. You know,
It's
the font's
still-
okay because it's meant to be a typewriter,
Yeah.
but it needs to be a little bit higher contrast.
But this is really
So
good
two
quality.
different starting campaign settings, which is great.
Wow.
So here's some of the double-sided maps,
Okay.
and feel how quality the paper is.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
heavy.
which is good because
It's supposed to be a map.
yeah, it's going to get a lot of use.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay, so each of these hexes,
Yeah, so that's where you move your tokens around and
right?
stuff. So
But like, I'm trying to figure out what the scale is. That is.
I'm sure it says it again. I think they're 10 feet.
I Might be 20.
I don't know. We'll find out when we play.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a whole other scale. So here is... Yeah, keep going. So that's 4 of the key adventure ones. So check out. So this is the Poland map with where you start with Kolitz and all of that. And again, high quality paper. Just solid, good, thick,
I've had
high... Yeah, it's some of the highest quality poster paper I've felt in years.
I've had real maps worse quality than this.
Oh yeah. And then the other side, I think, is I didn't get to see. Is it the Stockholm? I'm assuming it's the Stockholm.
I don't know. Is it Stockholm?
Let me see. Yes, it's so
Okay.
Sweden.
Because I can't.
Which makes sense. They're in Sweden. You know, write about what you know.
Yeah.
That's fine. So now you have 2 different settings to start from, which is great. And again, really good quality there.
Okay, so we got battle maps.
Here's your character sheets. They're just a bundle of them.
Ta-da!
All right, now here is basically the equivalent of dungeon tiles, encounter maps. So you have a whole bunch of these that you can interconnect or use in different ways, right, depending upon the scale and everything. So you got like a crossroads, which is a classic, the windy road, out in the wild with a little bit of terrain, a bunch of those. You just go ahead and flip through both sides there.
Okay. Again, very high quality.
Really high. These are even higher quality. These are more like cardboard solid. These are like even like twice the density of the other one.
Like it's really nice to feel.
We have our referee's manual, and again, the book quality, right? That is really good, heavy quality paper. We'll have to see how the glue binding holds up. You know, that's the problem with the this particular type of binding is they have a tendency to pop out the pages and split. Full color artwork throughout, very richly done. Lots and lots of NPCs with photos and everything, or drawn photos, but which was another nice thing about Twilight 2000 is they really fleshed it out. More maps, right? But this is the DM's version, so it's detailing what's what. You guys have to explore. The DM's got the info, and yeah, just lots of great resources. So and then we got in here player's manual. So we should have 5, I believe, player's manuals.
Well, here's one.
Because I bought 3 extra, and then there should be at least 1 each.
4.
Yeah. 4? No, there should be 3 extras, and then 1 in each. I haven't taken 1 out of here yet.
Oh, and I haven't counted that one. Yeah.
Encounters and initiative cards. You can go ahead and unpack that.
All right.
And here's the pack of tokens. So we got minds, chemistry, chemical exposure, just all kinds of indicators, condition indicators, etc. So this is where it's more like these are very similar in style to the ones in here.
Okay, so.
And the maps are too. So, you know, I mean, different. This is higher quality.
Ooh, I like these cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
But see, here's the tactics icons, right? Very
yeah,
similar
yeah.
in style, even though it's more primitive.
Yeah, no.
And
So like if you were used to doing like a Texas game, it'd be easy to just jump right into this, and then you'd be at home. Yeah.
In the real army, those cards, the weapon cards, you showed those already?
yes, no, not the weapons cards yet. No, not yet.
Okay.
That was an add-on. That's not included. The encounter card is, and the initiative, but I don't think the weapons are in there.
These are very nice. Like
Yeah, really solid.
like you could
high quality. Everything.
So like a lot of cards when
they did really well on the Kickstarter, so but they didn't skimp.
A lot of times, whenever I get cards for a game, I don't want to shuffle them.
Yeah, because they'll fall apart.
They're
They'll split and what have you.
These they feel like you could shuffle them.
Good.
Like I would feel comfortable
Excellent.
shuffling these.
Well, if you look at the encounter cards,
There's a lot of them.
that there is like a king of diamonds in the upper right-hand corner.
Right, yeah, so identify, it's an actual playing deck in a way.
Okay.
So I've got two of clubs, forest fire. Hunting possible without spending a shift. The fire has intensity C and is 20 hexes deep. Survival roll needed to find a way past. Even if successful, no further travel this shift. If the roll fails, the path forward is blocked for the next shift too. This reminds me a lot of both Tor and Rollmaster, which we love.
So it looks like this
Pack of Wolves, booby-trapped vehicle, ground zero, full tank, hungry and angry, kill my meat, marauder roadblock, murderous bastards, shoot on sight, superior firepower. Boy, these have got like a little bit of traction to them. They're like a little bit roughed up.
Yeah.
So you can actually thumb through them easier. Outnumbered, for my country, dense fog, rabid dogs, viper's nest. This is a very interesting design of these cards. Yeah, that's...
No, yeah, I really like those cards.
Yeah, that's...
Army had poker decks that were all identified vehicle,
Right,
or weapon, identification cards.
Right, and that's why they did it, right? It's because that's how. So we got initiative stuff. So I guess this
It's the same. It's the
you
same.
just draw your initiative, and that's your initiative order.
Which that's kind of similar to Deadlands.
So
So
you just hand out however many there are of you, and then that's your initiative order.
So like each of the dice, they have a number, but they also have icons on it. But even the ones that
So
have
that
icons,
helps.
you can see that the number is right up there.
Yeah, which that helps. That's much better that way.
yeah, rather than
Now this one, at least it's visually, you understand
Yeah.
somewhat what they're trying to do.
which I'm wondering, there has to be a table somewhere in the.
There is, and I hope that it's not limited. I hope there is a more detailed wounding version than that, because that would be a bummer. Because that's one of the things we liked about 2000 is the level of detail of injuries.
You are more likely to hit at the chest.
Well, yeah, no, that makes
makes sense.
But it's both arms and both legs rather than one leg,
One
one
arm,
left or
yeah,
right,
yeah,
which
yeah.
we like the separation.
On
Where's
the
the
mission cards,
case for that?
apparently the way you
Or was it just
face
wrapped
the
in-
It was just
card
wrapped in
is
plastic.
relevant.
Oh, really? What?
Apparently, how you face the card on your initiative card is relevant towards what kind of action you use.
Yeah, it's like you have fast action used, bonus action used, slow action used,
Oh,
no action
Okay.
used.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any of the rules yet.
No,
but-
yeah, but
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
On the top part, it says used action. On the bottom, it says no action used. On the side, it says fast action used.
So yeah, it's. I don't know what that means.
But sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, but it's got a card. Okay, so I'll take the cards out so you can show. Luckily, the box, this one might be a little different. This has placeholders for those.
Right.
So if you want to show that to the camera.
So like these will fit right perfectly in there, just like that.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, and then I've got another deck of cards, so I can put that in the other slot. That was a stretch goal. So this is the weapons card deck. This was an add-on you buy separately. It's not included. And I could see buying several of these to have more duplicates and such.
Yeah.
Good thing is
You don't need
the
more-
PDFs that we got to bind the
Have everything. I know, but these are such high quality. I'd rather have the quality.
Yeah, no, these are really good quality.
My question is the quality in the standard box the same
We'll
as
find out in a minute. Yeah, whether it's a premium thing or not, we'll find out in a minute. All right, so this is the weapons card deck. Same style of card quality.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, that doesn't look.
Yeah, it's the same. It's got the same little graphic.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So we got the PZF3 with, and I love. That was another thing on 20,000. You learn a lot more about what a weapon looks like because they actually show it. So we've got our The German Panzerfaust III anti-tank rocket launcher was adopted in the early 1990s to replace the aying PZ-44 developed at the end of World War II. It is similar to the RPG-7V, itself derived from the original Panzerfaust, but has longer range and greater penetration than the Soviet weapon. Type ATRL, anti-tank rocket launcher, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Ammo 110 millimeter. REL is 5. I think reload.
Yep.
Rate of fire is 1. Damage is 8. Crit is 1. Blast is C. Range is 7. Mag is 1. Armor is -1. And weight is 1. So just a ton of these. So, but I could see wanting to buy a few copies of this deck when you have duplicates to hand around to the players, right? Because otherwise you're like, hey, can I see that? I've got a copy of that too. So I could see wanting to have, if you have 5 player manuals, maybe having 5 of these.
Well,
But making sure you keep them separate. What's that?
There are no duplicates in that card deck.
Exactly.
Every card gets a new weapon.
Exactly. So helpful for the GM, but more helpful to players if you have multiple copies.
but your character sheet does have weapon slots at the bottom.
Sure,
so.
of course, but these give the extra details.
That's
So we're going to show some of those on both sides up there. What's that ratcheting sound? Or strumming? There's some weird sound.
Oh, that was me scrolling. I've got a.
Okay, it was really loud.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
All right, and so that does have a little box to put it in,
Okay.
and a slot in the premium case to put that in. Now, that box isn't going to last as long. The box is not the best quality, but the rest of it is. All right,
The cards are good.
and those go back in the bag, and then there's the 2 larger slots here, so you can basically have 2 sets of dice, 1 in each, I guess.
Okay. Come on. Two.
So meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and open the regular edition. This is what everybody can buy.
So if I were to try and pick this up, I would probably get that.
This is, yeah. I mean, maybe they offer that, I don't know. So this has a fairly good thickness. The box is thicker than the original, definitely. Because it's been frustrating. Most game companies have been really skimping on the quality of the stuff. They did not skimp. Okay, another set of dice. Another set of the cards, just in plastic.
Yep.
No box to contain the cards, so that could be a real problem unless it's got a thing in here. Another catalog. So all the same. It should be all the same content. So far, the quality feels the same as far as the paper quality.
That feels
It's
the same.
identical. A little harder to get out of here because it doesn't have the little nooks that has.
They really thought that through.
They really did, yeah. Yeah, this is actually a lot harder to get out. It's jam-packed. But that's what you have to kind of do is dump it out. Alright, so same thing, same maps. All the same high quality.
Yeah.
Character sheets. More of the
Everything.
maps. More of the counters. Referee's manual. Player's manual upside down, but other than that. But nowhere to put, like your cards will end up scattered all over and your dice will be scattered all over, whereas in this one there's placeholders
Right.
to hold your stuff in place, which is a nice touch. So,
Okay.
yeah. So well worth it. I mean, that's some real quality there.
Yeah.
Way above most of what I've seen the RPG industry do. Way above.
Very good stuff.
Yeah.
Hoping will be just as.
Yeah, with Tor, I imagine so.
I'm excited. I backed that, I believe.
Yeah,
So
very excited. All right, let's see. Yeah, see, it's got little nooks in the corners here, so it's so much easier to get stuff in and out. They made a gap,
yeah,
so you can actually get to it from the corner. All 4 corners.
that's great.
It's a well thought out box.
That is really good. Okay, and then the character sheets are here.
And there's even room for probably one more book to squeeze in if I wanted. Oh, yep, okay.
Oh, the character sheets
Yes,
are here.
yes, yeah, there we go.
And then there's...
All right, still a little bit of
All right.
room left.
There you go.
So there's that. We're gonna let's crack open the player's manual. Do you guys have the PDF version?
I have the
That's what I was
actual book.
for.
Okay, good. What's
We
that,
have the
John?
PDF version, and we have the form fillable version of the character sheet.
The what?
Form fillable
Okay.
PDF character sheet.
Okay, although I prefer, when evaluating a system, I do not like to use those when learning a game. That's great once you've got it down for bringing in new players, but for
I'm just saying I
evaluating,
have it, not that I'm using it.
yeah, that's great. No, that's really good. And it's good to let people know that.
What did he say he has?
The form fillable PDF version.
Ah!
So it does the math for you and choices and stuff.
Oh, it makes... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like one that you could just type.
I think it does. It does auto calculation, doesn't it?
I have no idea. I haven't even attempted to fill it out.
So special thanks to our top backers. The tiniest print. I'm assuming I'm in here somewhere because I did a pretty. Okay, that's just part of the list. Then I am assuming the other cover. They crammed
We
on
have
a
a magnifying glass in the...
pretty much. I can make it out. Let's see. It's going to be under Robinson or Hawks Robinson is the question.
It's filled.
Tiny little print.
It's not in...
What?
It's
You're
not
trying
in,
to find it?
It's not in order.
Yeah, it is.
It's in first name order.
Okay. Let's just say, there it is, Hawk Robinson. So they left off, I put also like RPG research and stuff, and they left it all out, but oh well. So Hawk Robinson's on the second, tiny, near the top right-hand column. Little tiny thing.
Gotta get a highlighter in.
Yeah. Whoop-de-doo.
Whee!
So game director and lead designer Tom, apologies if I butcher the name, Thomas Harenstam. Lead setting and scenario writer Chris Lites, lead artist Nicholas Brandt, graphics design Christian Granith, cover art Martin Grip, maps Tobias Trinell and Nicholas Brandt, co-publisher Angus Amberson and Armagosa Press, brand management Mark Miller and Game Designers Workshop, so GDW is part of this, that's good. Mm-hmm. Inspired by the original Twilight 2000 by Frank Chadwick, which we showed you. There's additional writing, additional art, military consultants, Chris Keeling, Mark Brian, Pedro Jadeo, Frank Frey, Edgardo A. Montesrosa, Jacob Torgerson. I was hoping to see like General something or other, but that's probably too much.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome, but...
Yeah. Thousands of Kickstarter backers for playtesting. A pretty detailed table of contents with full color artwork for the headings of each one. Because if you look at, you really know when you're on that chapter, the artwork is robust.
So just get it.
And it's new and original artwork.
Like, that is...
And this is much more legible than the situation folders.
Yeah.
As far as the font contrast, which is good. So, Twilight 2000, the players, the referee, what do you do? In Twilight 2000, there is no one to hold your hand and show you where to go in a world engulfed by war. It is up to you and the other players to decide where to go together. The referee will place encounters, NPCs, and tough challenges in your path, but in the end, the stories of the game are created by you. They are not written down beforehand. You have control over your PC's lives, and there is plenty to do. Stay alive, help those in need, search for information, find a safe haven, stake a claim, find a way home, reset the world. So settings are Poland, Sweden, or other settings, but those are the two main ones. Campaign frameworks. You can be civilians, law enforcement, prisoners, or a mixed group. I'm just reading the highlights from these, obviously. Starting the game. The default way to start a campaign of Twilight 2000 is to begin just as the U.S. military advanced toward Warsaw or Stockholm, Operation Reset, has been crushed by Soviet forces. Your group of U.S. soldiers, local soldiers, or civilians, or a mix of all three. I love that they added the civilian twist. That really wasn't a thing. There were add-ons for it in Twilight 2000, but that was not part of it. So I love that it's got that civilian twist.
Yeah, it's very much wider because you have civilian police
Yep.
as well as civilians.
Yeah, just anything you can think of, you can be. It's great. Is running for their lives, forced to fend for themselves in hostile territory. Choose where on the travel map to start the game. Close to Kalitz, if played in Poland, or near Örebro. Again, apologies if I'm slaughtering it. If playing in Sweden are good choices, as these areas are where the final battles occurred. From there, you're on your own. You decide where to go, with the referee placing goals and obstacles in your path. Tools of the game. Twilight 2000 requires you to improvise as you play, but the game also provides a number of tools. Okay, character sheets, dice, cards, maps and counters, what is a role-playing game, etc. All right. So that's not too bad a lead-in. We're on page 11, but it's not too dense. Player characters, chapter 2, and you could just skip in, I think, and not lose out.
Yeah, we would be good.
Yeah. Player characters. Ronson carries the saw. Diaz is like the professor on Gilligan's Island. She can build a new carburetor out of a pair of coconuts. Can you mute your mics when you're not speaking, please? Because somebody's got a lot of background noise. Thank you. Cassia, all of 17, is the closest thing we have to a medic since we lost Doc. Jonesy is a ginger who Diaz says looks like the cat in Aliens, which is how a German intel officer got a name like Jonesy. Top's been in the army long enough to have fought in the Tet Offensive. And me? I'm just a grunt. We're all trying to get by. Top once called us the last family. He might be right. Cassia made a gagging gesture than when he did. But none of us expect to see our actual families again. You are a survivor. Whether soldier or civilian, you have experienced the horrors of World War III, but you refuse to let them break you. No matter what, you are determined to live another day, and one day, maybe, just maybe, find a way to fix this broken world. Your player character, PC, your survivor, is your most important asset in Twilight 2000. They are your weapons, your eyes and ears in the world. But they, in return, depend on you making the right decisions for them. Don't screw it up. Take your PC seriously and play them as if they were a real person. It's more fun that way. At the same time, don't try to protect your PC from every conceivable danger. The goal of the game is to create a good story. For that to happen, you need to take risks. Ooh, I'm liking that, John. During the course of the game, your PC will change and develop. Their skills and specialties can be developed through experience, but you can also discover how their personality changes and is formed in a way that cannot be measured by numbers on a page. This is when your player character truly comes alive. Character sheet, archetypes versus life paths. This chapter first explains some core character concepts and then offers two different methods for creating a player character. The archetype method, page 20, and the life path method, page 31. You can choose whichever method you like best for your gaming group. That's basically, I think, the difference between the first edition and second edition rules, if I remember correctly. Different players can even use different methods as long as all are in agreement about it. The referee has final say, as always.
Yeah.
Archetypes. This lets you create a fully playable character in mere minutes, ready to jump into action. So great for pickup games and such. They still get to customize a little bit. It also creates a fairly balanced group of characters with similar overall competency. So I wouldn't want to do that for a long-term campaign, but that would be great for short shots and one-shots and just, basics. Life paths. This method lets you build your character by developing their backstory in detail, learning skills and specialties as you go along. This will create more fleshed-out characters, but also with more varied levels of competency. Nationality, branch, military rank, attributes, languages. So attributes, strength, agility, intelligence, and empathy. So only 4 attributes. That's considerably less than the older version. Military ranks, they've got a whole listing from private all the way up to general. They have it in U.S., Soviet, Polish, and Swedish names. That's great. That was not in the original as far as the names of the equivalent ranks. It was all in U.S. terms. I love that they've got that for the other. You'll have to figure out how to pronounce some of them, but still.
I had to Google that last time we played. My German officer.
Attribute scores. We've got attribute A, B, C, D, die type D12, D10, D8, D6, die size 12, 10, 8, 6. Description, extraordinary, capable, average, or feeble. Hit and stress capacity. Your hit capacity equals the sum of your die size for your strength and agility divided by 4, rounding fractions up. So like original 2000 did a lot of basic math like that, which is good. Skills. Okay, you've got A through F skill levels. And again, it looks like basically the better you are, you get a larger die size. So similar to Firefly and Serenity and others like that, but without necessarily being a dice pool. Specialties, coolness under fire. That's one of the great things about Twilight 2000 is coolness under fire. For those who aren't familiar with it, when bullets start to fly in your direction, you need to keep a cool head. Panicking can cost you your life or get someone else killed. Coolness under fire, or CUF, or cuff for short, is a rating between A and D, just like an attribute. The better your cuff, the better you are at keeping calm in combat, page 67. After each session in which you rolled a cuff roll, you have a chance to improve your cuff score, page 40. Good, because you get used to it, one way or the other. Or PTSD, I hope they have that option. Because that is one of the things that, in reality, what they found is, if you keep exposing people to trauma, the assumption was, oh, well, they'll be more robust. No. What happens is if you keep exposing people to trauma, sooner or later, no matter how resilient they are, they will develop PTSD sooner or later. There's only one thing that can inoculate people from PTSD risk: training and simulation and practice. That's what they found actually reduces the risk of PTSD. But even with that, if you keep putting people in traumatic situations, whether they're EMT, police officers, medic, whatever, they will eventually develop PTSD no matter how much training and therapy you give them if you keep exposing them to trauma again and again and again. Even the most resilient people will eventually develop it. So on average, it's less than 30% of people in a trauma will develop PTSD from a particular traumatic incident. There's a big difference between trauma and PTSD, which is it doesn't go away, basically. Trauma is a normal coping mechanism for exposure to a really exceptional situation. PTSD is your brain still thinks you're stuck there and is having trouble moving on, and that can be challenging. All right, we've got moral code. So we've got unit morale, so that's typical. Moral code. The world might have gone to hell, but you're still a human being with values and morals. All right. So far, anyway. This is represented by your moral code, phrased in a single sentence. During play, you will face situations that test your moral code, where following it puts you or your group in immediate danger or requires a major sacrifice of some kind. The referee has final say on when this happens, but you should also bring such situations to their attention. If you choose to follow your moral code, you get a +1 modifier to one related skill roll, page 40, if this makes sense in the situation. And you will learn from the experience, earning an experience point, XP, at the end of the session. If you choose to betray your moral code, you will immediately suffer 1 point of stress, page 77. At the end of the session, you will also have the option to scrap your moral code and write a new one. Interesting. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
It could go either way, but at least it has it, right? It's adding some clearly defined parameters rather than just ambiguity.
That also allows, sometimes your morals can be changed with new experiences and stuff. So that makes sense.
No, that's interesting. That is interesting. Big dream. Your immediate goal in the game is to live another day. But in the long run, merely surviving is not enough. You've got to have purpose. It doesn't say that, but it's purpose that drives us, purpose that binds us. We come back to take what you took from us, purpose. Agent Smith, Matrix Revolution. You also have a motivation of your own, something you dream will one day come to pass, that keeps you on your feet when it would be easier to just lay down and die. During play, you'll gain extra XP if you take concrete action to realize your big dream, the referee's final say. Which, John, as with Heroes of the Mist and all the others, you all had to do your immediate, your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals, because that helped drive your character and your decision-making, right, beginning with the end in mind. All right, your buddy. Yay, we love this, fellowship focus. You must choose which one of the other PCs that you feel closest to. That PC is your buddy. Mark your choice on the character sheet. If you risk your life for your buddy, or make a major sacrifice for them, you get a +1 modifier to one related skill roll, page 44, if this makes sense in the situation. And you will gain bonus XP at the end of the session. If you witness your buddy being injured, you risk suffering mental stress, page 78. Excellent. How you met. Talk about how your PCs all met. Appearance, name, gear, starting gear, Group gear, vehicle. That's another fun thing about Twilight 2000 is the whole vehicle thing. It's just a neat thing about it. Encumbrance, ammunition, food and water, stockpiles, measuring time, radiation. That's a big thing in this game. You accumulate rads. The more experience you have, the more likely you have more rads, which means you can have healthy issues. Okay, archetypes. It walks you through. There are 19 steps for the archetype path. 1, choose your archetype. This is on page 20. 2, choose your nationality. 3, service your branch. 4, roll your rank, or if you're military, or if you're not converted to other nationalities. 5, determine your attributes. 6, determine hit capacity and stress capacity. 7, determine your starting skills. So it's the math steps are included. 8, choose your starting specialty. 9, record your starting coolness under fire. 10, determine your unit morale. 11, your moral code. 12, big dream. 13, choose a buddy. 14, decide how you met. 15, decide your appearance. 16, choose a name. 17, pick your gear. 18, pick your group gear. 19, roll a d6 to determine your starting permanent rads. So
my question about unit morale is, can Dan's character, who's in my same unit, have a different unit morale than me?
well, we're not that far yet. We don't know yet how it works. So I imagine it sounds like you do part of this. A lot of this looks like it's group effort. It sounds like.
Right.
So I think the group morale is a group morale. I think you calculate it between all of you. I'm sure it will detail that later. So we've got the civilian, the grunt. These are archetypes. The gunner, the kid, the mechanic, the medic. Yes, sir.
Unit morale. Your group's starting unit morale is equal to the highest command skill in the group.
There you go.
So,
yep. The officer, the operator, the spook. Character generation, life paths. All right, there are 21 steps for that. We won't go through that now because there's a lot of the same ones. It's just you roll more of it instead of just picking. Childhood, military service. So this is filling in all your experiences. Starting gear. Then we got United States, Soviet Union, Sweden, Poland, local militia, civilian experience. I mean, they always had a civilian experience option, right? In Twilight 2000, it just was rare that you really pushed being just civilian. We got police, crime, intelligence, blue collar, education, white collar. Develop your character, learn from experience, spending XP, gain coolness under fire, change unit morale, redefine your moral code, seek a new dream, find another buddy. That will happen a lot. Okay, skills and specialties, chapter 3, page 44. So this does not do the let's jump in and play. We didn't think it would.
no.
It is a sandbox campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's nice that even the
the flow of it's pretty good though. This is better flow than some.
Yeah. Even the archetype, it's not just it's pre-generated character basically. It's you're still making some choices and rolling some dice, but it's a lot simpler. So
we got roll the dice. We got base dice, custom dice, the core skills, success, multiple successes, the art of failure, pushing your roll. Using gear, ammo dice, passive rolls, only once. Describe your action. Don't roll too often. I like that. It's hard to succeed in Twilight 2000. If you don't stack the odds in your favor, there is a great risk of failure. With that in mind, you should never roll dice unless necessary. Save the dice for dramatic situations or tough challenges. If any other situation, the referee should simply allow you to perform whatever action you wish. A pushed roll plays out in story terms, depends on what skill you're using. It can take the form of great physical exertion, total mental focus, or emotional strain. Group rolls, good. You can pool your resources, good. Modifiers, chances of success, difficulty levels, negative modifiers, specific modifiers, positive modifiers, specialties, help from others, opposed rolls, NPCs and skills, gear, damage to gear, and a long list of skills. Close combat, heavy weapons, stamina, driving, mobility, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read through all of them. There's a lot. Combat and damage. We got slow and fast actions, helping others, exchanging initiative. Okay, we got a whole list of slow actions. So slow actions, get item from backpack, persuade, unarmed attack, melee attack, grapple. Fast actions, drop backpack, seek cover, go from full to partial cover, run, cross barrier, move through door, crawl. Free actions, drop to the ground, drop held item, go from partial to full cover, shout a few words. Terrain and hexes. A battle map's divided into hexagons or hexes for short. The hex is the main unit of distance combat. A hex is 10 meters across, so 30 feet. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. So 10 meters across. If the combat is played without a map, it's the referee's job to determine the distances, blah, 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 blah. Each hex has a terrain type that affects visibility, ranged attacks, movement, cover, and infiltration. The terrain types below summarize the effect, and it shows all the artwork for each hex and all the modifiers that happen to visibility, ranged attacks, movement, cover, and infiltration. The terrain types are pavement, field, shrubland, debris, forest, foliage, swamp, shallows, blocking, and indoors. It's nice. Foot movement, cover, barriers, visibility and line of sight, smoke, ambush, social conflict. Excellent. Sometimes you can make things go your way without resorting to violence. Instead, you trick or convince your opponents without drawing your weapon. This might even be possible in the midst of combat. For non-violent conflicts, use the persuasion skill. Before you roll, you must state the stakes of the roll, what you want to achieve. What you ask of your opponent must be within reason. No NPC will agree to anything you want or act directly against their own will agree to do anything you want or act directly against their own interests, no matter how good your roll is. The referee has the final say on what is possible to achieve given the current situation. Resolution. When you try to convince, bluff, or charm someone, make an opposed roll for persuasion against your opponent. It only counts as a slow action for you, the active party. If you successfully persuade your opponent, you sway them somehow and reach the stated goal of the roll. If you roll multiple and it's got little target symbols more than your opponent, you might even gain some further bonus if the referee finds it appropriate. Even if you succeed your persuasion roll, your opponent is entitled to ask for something in return, if the referee deems it reasonable. It is up to you to accept the agreement or not. Negotiating position, persuading a group, being persuaded, interrogation, stamina instead of persuasion, close combat, ranged combat, retreat, aiming. Let's see. Okay, damage. Okay, critical injury. If the damage is inflicted after mitigation by armor and cover, it's equal to or higher than the crit threshold of your weapon. Also inflict a critical injury. Aiming. Before you fire, you need to spend a fast action to aim at your target. If you don't, your attack counts as a quick shot and suffers a negative modifier. And they've got a -1 for pistols, carbines, and SMGs. All others are -2. So you always have to aim. So telescopic sight, I mean, if you don't want to have penalty. Telescopic sights, if your weapon has telescopic, you get +1 or +2. Range, medium, long, extreme, short, etc. Shotguns, stance, cover, range fire modifiers, partial cover, called shots. If you want your attack to hit a specific part of your target's body, the head, the torso, leg, or arm, you need to make a called shot. Called shots suffer -2 modifier. Well, that's pretty generous. Only a -2.
But that depends on the dice.
Yeah, but that's not that even. I mean, that's still not a huge. In older versions of the game, it was a much heavier penalty to do called shots. So, but I'm glad that they specified it because it is always asked.
Yeah.
The moment you bring firearms in, there's always, well, can I do a called shot?
Yep.
Moving target, target size, elevation, terrain, weather and darkness, smoke, machine guns, light, general purpose, heavy, one-handed shooting, friendly fire, overwatch, ammunition, pushing and reuse reliability, weapon jam, bows and thrones, suppression fire. Boy, they've really got some good detail here. I am glad to see that because Five 2000 is a little bit more of a detailed game. Landmines, IEDs, that's newer in this version, obviously. Heavy weapons, indirect fire. Okay, this is all killing blow. Person who's incapacitated by damage is defenseless. If it's a human being and you want to kill them outright, you must fail an EMP roll. Roll 1 base die only. If the roll succeeds, you simply cannot force yourself to commit the deed. Nice. Nice. Even if the roll fails and you do kill the victim, you suffer a point of stress. Killing in cold blood is not easy. If you have the killer specialty, you can kill defenseless enemies without these negative effects. Recovery, further recovery, infected wounds. Because that's another big part is there's no magic. Mm-hmm. You got to deal with the reality of wounds. Critical injuries, Arms and legs, severe injuries, death, healing crits, multiple crits. All right, we have a detailed crit chart. Yes. Yes. Page 76. Not as detailed as Rollmaster, but nice. So there's a different chart for each area. Head, torso, legs, arms, and mental. There's a crit chart for mental. Yes.
Oh.
So we got for head, so it goes 1 through 10 on all of them.
Yeah.
Ear slashed, concussed, nose crushed, shattered teeth, cracked skull, gouged eye, brain hemorrhage, shattered neck, crushed windpipe, brains blown out. So clearly level of severity. And that is instant death. The last one.
Yeah.
Torso, snapped collarbone, broken ribs, cracked pelvis, bleeding gut, ruptured kidney. All right, trigger warnings here, I guess. It's Twilight 2000, people. Cracked spine, torn intestines, internal bleeding, heart impaled, instant death. So do not roll a 10 on your crits, because it is instant death on all of these. And catatonic for mental. Legs, crushed toes, dislocated knee, severed tendons, broken shin bone, crushed ankle. Somebody's mic's on again. Cracked hip, thigh gash, shattered knee, arterial bleeding, severed leg. Arms, dislocated shoulder, slashed forearm, crushed fingers, dislocated elbow, broken forearm, crushed wrist, bleeding shoulder, shattered elbow, arterial bleeding, severed arm. Mental, nervous tremble, anxious, sullen, nightmares, nocturnal, phobia, alcoholism, paranoia, psychosis, and catatonic, immobile and non-responsive. Stress, suffering stress, incapacitated by stress. So they got lots of rules about stress, which is excellent. Rally, further recovery, mental trauma, healing trauma, conditions, starving, dehydrated, sleep deprived, I can relate to that, hypothermic, falling, drowning, fire, chemical warfare, nerve agents, blistering agents, radiation, decontamination, vehicle disease, medical aid. Now we're in a vehicle combat and all the rules for that. And that's very much wargaming rules there. Vehicle components. So component damage, this is part of the classic thing in Twilight 1 through 10. That's like, this is really it brought back first edition, which is what we, and with nice enhancements. So fuel, engine, suspension, ammunition, cargo, driver, passenger, gunner, commander, radio, in that order. Reroll for front and rear attacks, whether it's penetration or not. Stabilizers, fire control systems, scavenging parts, ramming, horses, boats. All right, 5, gear, weapons, vehicles, and gear. Page 90. We've got trade, bartering, supply, common, scarce, and rare, gear damage and repairs, gun care, jury rigging, and then a long list of weapons. And in the melee weapons, it starts with a beer bottle. And then we've got various types of knives, baseball bat, machete. I read somewhere a long time ago that the number one most murders and caused is with a machete in the world. That the most murders are actually done with a machete. And it's been 10, 20 years since I read that. I need to double check it, but that was quite shocking to me.
Well, there are several countries where the machete is the primary weapon of choice.
Yeah. We got,
It's kind of like having a sword,
yeah.
but it's really easy to get a hold of one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I have several. But I have a plethora of weapons. So we got multiple bows and crossbows of modern style. We've got a pipe gun, improvised firearm made from scraps to fire shotgun shells. Zip gun. I have stories from my uncle and dad about the zip guns they would make back when they were kids. Yeah, that's great. They added these extra little civilian firearms, etc. And then we get into the more hardcore, heavy duty. Lovely. Nicely put together. Really stoked to play this. We got our artillery and hand grenades. And the vehicles, which is also a key part of Twilight 2000's flavor, is the vehicles. Gotta love the vehicles. Lots of detail there, lots of options. Plus they've added the Swedish military, because that was never a thing in the originals, the others. But
Write
hey,
about
there's
what you
Sweden.
know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not knocking it all. All right, medical supplies, tools and spare parts, fuel and stills. That was another key thing is you've got to make your own fuel. You have to do this whole thing of harvesting plant material and stilling your own fuel. That was another thing pretty unique. That is unique that I've seen as far as role-playing games. Electricity, explosives, food and drink, field gear, home base, finding a base. So this is another thing that's new. I don't think this was, I know it's not part of the core rules. I don't know if it was in supplementary rules for Twilight 2000. Twilight 2000 is a game about traveling through the wastelands of World War III, but one day you might find a place safe enough to stay at, temporarily or for a longer period of time. We did that all the time. This section details how you can establish and develop a home base for your group. But be warned, enemies will come knocking and you will need to fight to defend what's yours. The rules in this section are intentionally light and abstract. Detailed rules for managing a base or a settlement would result in excessive bookkeeping and slow the game down. These rules are designed to create a base of operations to be used as a backdrop for role-playing.
Okay.
Good approach. Finding a base. First thing you need in order to establish your own base is to find a suitable location. There are plenty of ruins out there in the wastelands, some even in decent shape. And your best bet is to find some pre-existing structure or building to settle down in. You might be lucky enough to come across empty locations during your travels, or you might need to throw the current occupants out and claim the place as your own. Some examples of locations that might serve as your home base: bomb shelter, bridge underneath, dilapidated mansion, farm, gated community, junkyard, oil rig, prison, shipwreck, shopping mall, skyscraper, small island, subway station, trailer park, and don't forget when you're in Europe, castles of many, many, many kinds. It's not in here, but...
Yeah.
How long it takes to clean out the location and make it livable is up to the referee, but typically it takes one or more shifts and two skill rolls, one for survival and one for stamina. Only one person can make each roll. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Map of the base, effects of a base, existing facilities, stamina roll encounters, facilities, prerequisites. Okay, so then you've got all the things you can do to enhance it. Construction, etc. So yeah, it is light, but at least gives you a little bit of a checklist of things to go over. Travel, another key part of Twilight 2000, and yeah, travel maps, terrain types. Nordic light. So you got light and darkness, and then a whole table for Nordic light. Shift morning, day, evening, night, spring. So because when you're further north,
Yeah.
it's letting you know for spring, summer, fall, winter what it's actually like when you're in Sweden, for example. For those who don't live
In Sweden.
in that latitude and wouldn't know.
Mhm.
We get a little bit of it here because it gets dark at 4:30 here in the winter, which is rough. Okay, forced march, driving, terrain, driving at night, mishaps, fuel and stills, interruption, navigation, driving mishaps list. They've got 12 of them: broken axle, roadkill, busted gearbox, dirty fuel, bogged down, wrong turn, roadblock, engine overheated, blown tire, thrown track, crash, engine blown. That was another key thing. Twilight 2000 has had all these breakdowns and such. If you don't maintain your vehicle, your risk of breakdown, because every 4-hour period, whatever it is in here, you had to roll for a breakdown. If you didn't maintain your vehicle, your percentage of breaking down any given moment was much higher, especially if you drove it harder. Really great little thing there. Okay, keeping watch, scrounging, foraging. Then we got a long list of equipment. What?
Every team needs a medic and a mechanic.
Yeah. In this game, they are gold. You need medical and maintenance people. All right, and then we got a long list of just equipment. And I love they put numbers by it, so you can roll a 100. So kind of like knickknacks and stuff, but you can roll for this. So this helps the GM a lot to just find stuff laying around.
It's just foraging. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
this table is.
But I mean, this is also just stuff that you can, because you got values, so it's also a shopping list.
Oh, yeah.
You got alarm clock, aspirin bottle. It's not just alphabetical. Aspirin bottle, axe, baseball bat, Bible, bicycle pump, binoculars, box of cereal unopened, box of chocolate still edible, bullhorn broken, candelabra, candy bar, car tire, carving knife, champagne glasses, D6 of them, chandelier, charcoal grill, cigarettes half empty pack, coloring book for kids half done, cooking pot, credit card, crime novel, crowbar, deodorant bottle, desk lamp, doll, electric guitar, electric mixer, electric shaver, electric toothbrush, extension cord, face mask, cartoon animal, fantasy novel very thick, fire extinguisher, fireworks, D6 still functional, fishing pole, flashlight broken, floor lamp, football, frying pan, gaffer tape, golf club, hair dryer, hair gel, hair gel, hockey club, hunting bow, hunting rifle, infant formula, instant coffee, instant noodles, iron pipe, ladies' hat, laptop computer broken, lawnmower, lipstick, loudspeaker broken, mathematics textbook, microwave oven broken, mirror, movie DVDs, D6 of them, movie posters, music CDs, D6 of them, national flag torn, necktie, oriental carpet, photo of happy family, playing cards, raincoat, remote control, revolver, saxophone, shopping cart, shotgun, skateboard, ski hat, sleeping pad, snow globe, sports jersey, teddy bear, tent, fits 4. Tire iron, top hat, toy sword, trombone, TV set broken, Twinkies still edible, typewriter, vacuum cleaner, video game console, walkie-talkies broken, Walkman with headphones and cassette, Walkman.
Wow.
Wallet full, and notice it doesn't say broken on that one.
No.
A wallet full of moldy cash, wine bottle undrinkable, wristwatch broken, yellowed copy of Twilight 2000 RPG First Edition. Oh, nice. Very, very meta on that.
That's great.
Roll twice the
Shots
table.
fired on that one.
What's that?
Shots fired on that one.
Roll twice on the table, roll 3 times on the table, roll 4 times on the table. That's nice, and that's clever.
That's great.
That is really clever. Foraging modifiers, hunting other animals, fishing, making camp, camp mishaps, D10. Food spoiled, flooding, fire dies, fire! Ants, lice, mosquito swarm, savage animal, lost gear, broken gear. Cooking, resting, sleeping, exploring, city travel, water travel, bare ground, and an actual index, because too many RPGs are missing that. It's not a super detailed index, but it looks usable. Wonderful. That's just the player's manual.
Yeah.
So one thing that I noticed from this, it would be really, really easy to take this and make, like, for example, a zombie survival game.
Oh yeah.
You can use it for any survival game, any
Yeah.
setting, really. And I really think that the other one they mentioned is just their fantasy version of this that was in their catalog here. I suspect.
The
Forbidden Lands,
Yeah, Forbidden Lands.
classic fantasy, survival, open world. So,
I
well,
would like to see the survival version. Because does this have anything for trying to do primitive stuff? Building a spear or
I mean, there's
Oh.
jury rigging stuff that you're able to make some weapons.
Okay, yeah.
yeah. I mean, the opening equipment weapons thing is a beer bottle.
Right. But I mean, because there's going to be a lot of wilderness survival.
Sure.
Foraging for food.
Yeah, no, it takes into account all kinds of terrain and all that. So, very cool. I am stoked. I really want to get playing that when I get a chance. Won't be right away. But this is one of the ones where I would want to do a weekly campaign of this. I really miss doing Twilight 2000. That was a lot of fun. It is a different style of role play because of the survivalism of it. And the non-magic part of it, right?
Yeah.
There's no supernatural aspect to it. You can if you want. Crossovers, it's, no
Exists.
limitation. But,
And no high tech.
No high tech.
yeah,
Right.
because everything kind of stopped around 2000. Everything just stopped advancing. So it's a snapshot stuck then, basically. Yeah, no aliens, no sci-fi, no black holes and time distortions and all that. It is a gritty survival game, which means it's not for everyone.
No.
But it is a fun, different type of play. And it's really the ultimate in resource management and longitudinal thinking and frustration tolerance. But I love that they've enhanced it with the buddy system. They've enhanced it with more emphasis of civilian options. There was always an indication of civilian options, but they didn't really emphasize it as much. It's handy they added archetypes while thankfully, basically it looks like they intentionally covered both audience types between second edition and first edition.
Right.
You've got a lighter weight version and a grittier version in the same system that are compatible, and that was good thinking. I wish more games would do that. To allow, like when I designed my games, I always had 3 levels of play. I had absolute basic introductory, just the bare minimum, just to get you interested in playing very quickly. The regular rules, which is the fully robust rules, but somewhat streamlined, not every option, but the main that most people would like. And then the advanced version that is for the people who really like gritty gameplay.
Right.
Every time I've designed a game, I always try to have 3 levels of that. And so I think they did a nice job. And the quality of everything in this is just really high quality.
Oh yeah, no.
Really impressed. Your thoughts, Dan? I know you're not physically here, but
I'm impressed. I wish I could have been there to see the actual quality, but I could oddly enough when David was moving it around, I could hear the flop on that cardstock. Yeah,
It's good.
it's good. It sounded good.
really exceptional.
Yeah.
And yeah, really looking forward to playing this. So again, on the road, it's too much of a hassle. This is not a good one without adding virtual VTTs, virtual tabletop tools, which would benefit greatly from this, or this would benefit from. This is not as good a one, I think, for me being on the road. For example, there's
No.
I could do it, but it would be a little bit, yeah. Whereas I think Dark Crystal will be able to do very easily on the road. One rule book, piece of cake, one set of dice. That's all you need. And so that's the one I'm going to take with me on the road.
Okay.
But when I get back, how many of you want to try a short campaign of it for a little while? A few weeks of a few encounters, trying to experience the escape, running into a few bandits, and then trying to establish a foothold somewhere before winter hits.
I am all for this.
So that would take a little while. I mean, it could take as long as 3 months to kind of experience, like if it was a weekly thing, to kind of get through an arc of the Twilight 2000 experience. Because you can't experience it all in a few sessions. You've got to go through, because you got to get to the point where attrition, or you've used up your ammo, you got to get more supplies, your fuel is all gone, medical issues are happening, people's injuries are accumulating. All of that is a cumulative thing. You don't really experience it until you've done it for a while, and then it gets harder. So, something to think about.
Swedish medic with universal health care.
That's funny. John, your thoughts?
It looks like it has a lot of promise. I'm looking forward to some. I'm already looking forward to people adding new elements to it in the future, like more kits, more maps. As we get modules and such like that, more storylines.
Yeah, I don't know if they will or not. I don't know how much they do the module thing. I didn't see on their website with their other games a lot of supplements. They had supplementing materials. That part they may do. But I don't know. The problem with modules is there's two very different philosophies. And in the last couple of decades, most companies have shied away from the module approach. Because the grognards say, oh, I'll just create my own. I'd never buy a module. And any of the experienced gamers often, they just want to make their own. And we've heard, our clients and such, right? Well, what's the point of a module if it doesn't save me work? So the problem is too many of the modules that are released don't really save you any work. They're just more materials, but you still have to read it all and absorb it all. And so there's really two types of modules. Source and campaign type material that you've got to read through, but they're useful and they're reference and all that, but they don't really shorten your work at all. And then the rare actual modules that very few companies make anymore. You rarely see an actual adventure module that will actually help hold your hand and do the work for you instead of you having to do it all. Those are rare now.
Black Madonna.
What?
The big one Black Madonna, wasn't that one of the big ones from the previous?
I have a whole bunch of them. The old version had a bunch of both campaign materials and adventures. And it was really helpful. I like modules because I don't have I really want to play the game. Great, I can whip up campaigns left and right. I've created my own worlds and systems. Sure, I can do all that. But in a busy life, it is so helpful to have modules that we can just go through. And it really bothers me that the industry for the last 20 years has just really shied away from making modules. They just give them away. They just make them free PDFs and stuff instead of... I like having the physical module that I can mark up and do everything with. I know I'm old school that way, and that's, maybe a dying thing. But, yeah, I wish there was less... There's always been this negative attitude about modules. Not always, but for the last 20, 25 years, there's just been a huge negativity about modules. And I think it really hurts adoption, right? It's that barrier to entry thing. When you bring in new players, they need the modules especially.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who are too busy, I want to run a campaign. I don't have time to read all the source material and build it all out and make all the NPCs. Give me a module that I can get together each week with my friends for 3 or 4 hours and just help guide me through playing it. It's okay if it's railroaded. People are like, oh, it's too railroaded, that's why we don't like modules. It's okay. And for beginner players, they need it as a scaffolding.
Mm-hmm.
I think every RPG, we know this from research, we know this from all of our programs, every role-playing game should offer a minimum of one introductory module that walks people through learning the rules, playing the game, and how to play. Because right now, there's still a role-playing game industry. 99% of them have a high barrier to entry that excludes the majority of people who would play if they would just make a good introductory adventure. So we've hammered on a million times, but it's been a while since it's been on here. So, and I see nothing like that. I don't know if any of the downloads are a good introduction. They might have a good download or something in here. We'll have to see when I get into it if they have a good introductory one for a first-time GM or something, because it needs it. I suspect this is not for your beginner GM or player, but maybe it's got a good intro adventure. We don't know yet. We're not there yet. We haven't gone through the referee manual. We'll do that another time. I'm out of steam here for tonight, and I got to get back to learning Mate.
Mm-hmm.
But really excited to get to play this. It will be probably until I get back next year, beginning of next year, but before we can actually probably play this. But in the meantime, let's start making characters. Get a pool of character sheets. Make 2 or 3. Each of you make 2 or 3 your own characters, so you have some to pick from, and it kind of helps you get familiar with the rules. And there's no hurry. We've got till next month.
Okay.
And then we'll maybe do it as our Wednesday thing or something. We'll play it by ear.
Okay.
But I do really want us to play test this.
How detailed the medical side is.
Yeah, there's a lot we don't know. I always wanted to bring Twilight 2000 into our training and our community programs on a careful basis.
Yeah.
More for our adult players, less for our younger kids.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to, but it was out of print, and I didn't care. The 2.2 version, I didn't care for enough. It was missing too much of the magic of the first edition. I think this one might top that, and it's right. One of our rules is it's got to be something in print that people can buy.
Right.
A physical copy. PDF is nice, but it's got to be physically purchasable, and this is, and that wasn't the case with the first edition of 2000. So that's why we couldn't do it in our programs. So I want to seriously evaluate this potentially for our programs, because it's such a different style of play. And I really want to see how that moral code works. I'm concerned it's not going to be strong enough for at-risk populations without real guidance.
Mm-hmm.
But at least it's there. And it wasn't in the other one. There was nothing like that. So they've left it flexible, which is great. We would definitely want to make sure that there was something, if we did introduce this in the community programs, we'd really need to have some house rules that laid down the ground rules that you're only playing heroes, like Tor does.
Yeah.
Right? We really don't want them going around, because we do get gangbangers and stuff coming into our tables from rival gangs.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing we want, is for them to get into PvP and all of that. And this
We're
could
going to really have to enforce the moral code.
right, and buddy system and all of that, really make it well defined. And so it'll take a little refinement before it can be in the community. But first, we have to really just learn it and learn the nuance and see if. But it looks like on first blush, much closer to the first edition, which I loved so much. Ironed out some of the wrinkles of the first edition. It really feels like these people knew what they were doing. We don't know that till we actually play test it, but looks really promising.
Mm-hmm.
Any further thoughts you want to add, David?
No.
Okay.
It looks really good, and the material, like the quality's great,
yeah.
and
it seems it's organized, well written from what I can tell, logical. Yeah, wow. We haven't played it yet, but it looks very, very promising.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's going to be it for tonight.
Are we going to broadcast?
What's that?
When we play this, are we going to broadcast?
Yes. Good. Both this and all of our game evals we want to broadcast, especially the new ones. So we're going to be doing, while I'm on the road, the next couple of weeks we'll do Dark Crystal. We'll try to get in 1 or 2 sessions of Dark Crystal between now and the end of the year. And then that'll give us good. I think 1 or 2 sessions will have a pretty good feel for how playable it is, because it's very, very lightweight. And there's no PDF for Dark Crystal, So if you need to borrow a copy, check it out with John just so that he knows who has what. Let's make sure we put a number on each one at the top like I do. But if you'd like to borrow one, feel free.
Okay.
And my hope is maybe next Wednesday we do Dark Crystal if it's not falling on a holiday or anything like that. So
I don't think it is.
yeah, I think that would be a good day as part of our training session. What are you guys thinking about Dark Crystal next week?
That's what I'm hoping for.
Dan, does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should.
Okay. All right, and so there's 3 copies of the book here, so that should be enough for you guys to have what you need because there's no PDF available.
Yep. But so we
And
have.
don't go into the DM stuff. Don't spoil. Be players. I'm going to DM, and you guys just focus on the player stuff, okay?
I'm just gonna,
We'll do. You guys will get to read the DM stuff after we've done 1 or 2 play sessions. Then you can read to your heart's content.
I'm just gonna show up.
Great.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Don't forget Sports Central.
Yeah, I was about to say Spark Central's this
Is
week.
that this? Okay, so you guys need to coordinate on that. So anyway, RPG Research is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. We study the effects of all role-playing game formats for their potential to help improve lives around the world. We have nearly 200 volunteers across 6 continents. We are based in Spokane, Washington. If you would like to help support the work that we do, please swing by rpgresearch.com and look at the About Us / donate. Or if you want to volunteer and help add to the community and bring your experience, and we'll train you and all this, because we have a whole well-established training program, you go to rpgresearch.com / volunteer. And we'll be probably back here next Wednesday. I'll be on the road, but we'll be streaming.
Yep.
And we'll be doing Dark Crystal, the adventure game, which right now you can only get out of Europe. It's not available in the States normally. So that should be a lot of fun. Wherever you may be well, happy gaming, and namarie.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Dream well.